Our top story, there is confusion and fear in Bangalore because one of the city's oldest lakes is at risk of disappearing. It's called the Hosakerehalli Lake and is spread across 60 acres of land. Pictures from the lake in the last few days have worried citizens and activists. Why? Because it looks like the civic body is planning to build a road through the middle of it. Yes, a road through the middle of a lake. Just take a look at these pictures. Truckloads of mud have been dropped in the middle of this lake. Residents say the plan is to build a 25-foot wide road to give better access to a luxury apartment nearby. But the BBMP, which is Bangalore civic body, is saying that's not the case. After a barrage of brickbats, the BBMP has now put up a poster near the lake. It says that no permanent road will be constructed and that the mud road is for desilting purposes. Basically, for trucks and machinery to reach the middle of the lake to remove the silt and the debris. A quick side note here, desilting is done to remove debris and silt from the bottom of the lake. It helps increase the holding capacity of the water body. Coming back to the poster, listen in to what the BBMP had to say about the ongoing project.
ಇದು ಏನು ಡೈವರ್ಷನ್ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಈಗ ಅದೇ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಂದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ಕೂಡಲೇ ತೆರವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ್ದು ಈ ಕಚ್ಚಾ ರೋಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಟೆಂಡರ್
ಡಿಸಿಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಡಿಸಿಲ್ಟಿಂಗು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 200 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸಿಲ್ಟಿಂಗು, ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 3 ಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಸಿಲ್ಟ್ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ 20 ಟನ್ಸ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಟ್ರಕ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೆಂಪರವರಿ ಒಂದು ಬಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಸಿಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ 52 ಏಕರ್ಸು, 1 ಏಕರು ಎನ್ಕ್ರೋಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎನ್ಕ್ರೋಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟು ಇನ್ನು ಲೇಕ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟು. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ರೋಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅನ್ನೆಸೆಸರಿ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಇದನ್ನು ಅಲಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಲೇಕ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ರೋಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
Now, residents and activists are calling out the BBMP and the government. They say the poster is a distraction and the real plan is to build a permanent road through this lake. Their version is further boosted by what the KTCDA is saying. Now, what is the KTCDA? It's the Karnataka Tank Conservation and Development Authority. If the government wants to desilt any lake, it must take permission from this authority. But KTCDA says no such permission has been sought or given. Listen in.
What the BBMP initially said was this road is being made basically to remove the silt from the lake and remove it from there, and then once it's done, we'll remove the road itself. But later, they started playing a different game. Now they said, we are not even aware of this. I mean, there's no tender being also called by us. Somebody else is doing the work. When the pressure started building from the media, they immediately told the contractor there to stop work. The Karnataka Lake Conservation Development Authority is not aware of it. There is no detailed project report of this. There is no environmental impact assessment done. So if you look at it, the entire project is illegal.
Now, this is a classic example of nature being destroyed by human greed. We are talking about one of the oldest lakes in the city of Bangalore. It has nourished nearby residents for dozens of years. But today, the BBMP is allegedly building a road through the middle of it. And for what? To give easier access to a handful of people living in a premium apartment? Now, this has been the story of Bangalore's lakes forever now. This city was once called the Garden City of India. And how do you think those gardens flourished? Because Bangalore was home to more than 800 lakes. Today, these are being encroached by land mafia and destroyed by pollution. Let me show you some numbers here. A recent survey of 105 lakes in Bangalore found that only 4 of them are in good condition. Just 4 out of 105. 90% of the lakes had been polluted by sewage. 98% of them had been encroached by the land mafia. 98%. And 25% were covered by water hyacinth. Only 29% of the lakes were fish for breeding fish. Tells you about the sorry condition of Bangalore's lakes. The question is, will Hosakerehalli Lake also join that list? Before I go to my guest, let me go straight across to my colleague Neha, who is joining us live from Bangalore. Neha, is all well that ends well? Because I do believe that one JCB machine that was in that area has now gone back to wherever it came from, and all work on that road, temporary or permanent, has now stopped.
Well, yes, Shreya, that's what we are given to believe. The BBMP officials who even visited the lake this morning, along with, in fact, a minister over there, Muniratna, did give an assurance that the temporary work that they claimed was going on to desilt the lake will not proceed anymore. But, like you mentioned earlier, the bigger question right now about how this work really began in the first place, we spoke with the contractor, we spoke with the BBMP, and they both admitted that there was no, specific work order for this, meaning that this work, in fact, went on based on oral orders. Now, that's what the contractor has confirmed to us. With that being said, of course, it was the residents who really championed this issue. Well, they raised their voice against this. You had several environmentalists coming forth as well, followed by, of course, media pressure that eventually now led to the lake's work being stopped completely. However, as far as the desilting is concerned, this was done in 2017 as well. And back then, we didn't really see an entire permanent road being built that's cutting across the lake over here. The desilting was done in a slightly different manner there, where, you had temporary portions of roads that were built. Now, whether, of course, at all this road was being constructed over there to aid the builders mafia or for any other reason for that matter, the fact is that there wasn't a work order for this. The work that took place was done based on oral orders, and this really goes on to show how this is another classic example of Bengaluru's lakes, in fact, dying. Really quite unfortunate that it took the officials almost about 10 days to really wake up to this tragedy of sorts, and so much pressure from the citizens for them to finally stop the work.
Sure. Citizen action works. A lot of us feel, why speak up? The government will not listen. They are deaf. They don't care. But citizen action does work. I think the case in Bangalore is showing us that. Neha, we'll leave it there for the moment. A quick chat with my guest this evening. Lami Ashwin Gowda is spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Nagaraju Yadav, spokesperson of the Congress party, with us as well. And Leo Saldanha is founder of the Environment Support Group. He's joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Saldanha, do you buy the explanation that the government has now given us and the BBMP has now given us that, hey, there is no conspiracy to build a pakka road through a lake? What we are simply doing was building a kacha road to ensure that the lake's health gets better and we can desilt it properly. Do you buy the reasoning and the explanation that has come in from the government and the BBMP?
Well, I mean, this is not the first time this kind of excuse has been sort of offered. But let me say this. This is a lake I have sort of grown up around. When I was a kid, I have swam in this lake. The Kalwe, as we call it, the canals leading and getting out of the lake were so clean, I would catch fish. So it's a lake I know very well. And the Tata Pramam building, which you see, the apartments, were not there, obviously. It was a huge ilok, which was part of the watershed of the lake. And we would actually kind of, really look around and say, wow, if this is how we can have the city growing, then the future of the lake is threatened. So we have actually worked over the last 20 years, and ESG in particular has done a lot of work to protect these type of lakes. And the outcome of this is what you said, the Karnataka Tank Conservation Development Authority Act. It's an outcome of Environment Support Group's case, which in 2012 the High Court held must become the benchmark in which not just lakes of Bangalore, but all the lakes of Karnataka have to be protected. So 45,000 lakes are directly affected. So this lake has been surveyed. And this road that is being built is a criminal offense. There is nothing less than that, because now KDCDA is washing its hands off. But let me say this. I was in court just last week arguing against Mr. Muniratna, who is the horticulture minister, no less. He's not just an ordinary MLA. I was arguing last week against the fact that in 2 lakes he has gone and put up some statues during the Shivratri festival. And the court has warned that no such activity shall ever take place in any lake across the state. Now, even a week after that, he did not learn his lesson. And now he justifies that this road is for, building, for desilting. Now, I have worked on lakes for quite a long time. You don't need any of this equipment to desilt. In fact, you should not desilt like this. The BBMP officials obviously knew about it and participated in what is clearly a criminal activity. So if KTCDA really wants to throw the rule book at them, in the next 2 days, the politicians will be out of power and the bureaucrats will be in power. So what the bureaucrats can do is, without any political oversight, they can actually look at the law and actually file cases against BBMP and Mr. Muniratna as well. Because this is clearly an offense in which a road has been built in. And this is not just an offense in law, it's also an offense in the court of law, because the court from 2008, when we filed the case, successively in many orders has said, you cannot build roads like this for whatever reason through lakes. In fact, when Chief Justice Oak was heading the High Court of Karnataka, he has gone into the depths of what are the reasons why BBMP offers for building roads. And one of them is to say desilting. He said nothing doing. In fact, he set up an expert committee and they looked at all the lakes and they threw this argument away. So in effect, what the BBMP has done, along with Mr. Muniratna, who's a minister, not just an MLA, and of course, we don't have corporators because there is no democracy in Bangalore, is to actually go ahead and act in contempt of the High Court as well. So this is a very, very serious offense. And now to clean it up quickly, like they cleaned up the other two lakes where they put up statues, is a very, very, very alarming instance of contempt of court and brazen violation of law.
Mr. Lakshmi Gowda, respond to what a citizen of Bangalore is saying. That this is criminal action. Don't try and fool us. Don't try and pull wool over our eyes. We can see what is going on.
Ma'am, we all know the fact of the matter that temporary road has been built just to move the equipment for the desilting and the cleaning of the lake. And we must aware of this fact first. And there was no ulterior motive involved in this, and no MLAs are involved in this. Congress people are simply blaming or putting blame on us. I think it's high time for them to rely more on positive campaigning rather than resorting to this kind of distortionist-based applications on our ruling dispensation. We are only involving in our positive campaigning and development in politics. This is not done.
No, ma'am, but the point is that the nodal agency which is supposed to look at lakes in Bangalore is saying, humne to permission di nahi. We have not given permission. We don't know what is happening.
But our BBMP people are saying
there is no tender floated for this road. All work is going on oral orders.
They've taken necessary permission for doing
I don't know whether this lake has fish or not, but this entire saga seems to be very fishy.
See, there are more than 100 lakes in the city of Bangalore. A ruling dispensation, our BJP government is so proactive in rejuvenating all the lakes. It is part and parcel of rejuvenating the lake, desilting process. For that, it was needed to be built there. But that necessary permission has been taken. It was not that we have simply built that road.
No, by who? Because the body that is supposed to give you permission is saying they have not given you permission, ma'am. Permission was taken by who? Where is the tender? There is no tender. Work is going on oral orders. The body that is supposed to look after lakes is saying we have not given permission. Then someone is saying this is a kacha road. One of the ministers saying this is a kacha road. Someone else from the BBMP saying no, this is a retaining wall. Ma'am, I mean, it makes it a little difficult for us to believe what the BBMP and the government is saying. Nagaraju Yadav, come in here.
Yeah. I would like to say it is ridiculous argument by the BJP spokesperson. I don't agree with it. I don't buy it. Whatever the other panelists who spoke, I completely agree with it. It's a contempt of court today. It is no politics, Jamie. I may be representing Congress, but Congress wants to talk to be the voice of the people of Bangalore today. 200 lakes are there in Bangalore. Today, this is the mafia, real estate mafia, is getting the work done of the road without any order. Even if desilting work has to be done, where is the order for that from the BBMP? And the KTCDA is not given the permission to do this desilting at all. Without their permission, they are doing their own. That means there is no law existing in Karnataka state. As Saldanha was that there is no democracy existing in Karnataka and in Bangalore. They are doing it at their fashion what they want to do. We are being saying, well, that this is also one of the classic example of real estate mafia and a 40% commission. Sake of commission, they without any order, they keep doing any roads, they keep doing anything what they want. Is the way government to work. Under 101 orders
Mr.
are there in
Raju.
the High Court of Karnataka and Supreme Court, and these are all completely against the NGT guidelines. They are working against the NGT guidelines. They are working against the Supreme Court
Mr.
order.
Raju, let me remind you. Let me remind you, Mr. Raju. When it comes to encroachment of land, when it comes to encroachment of lakes in the city of Bangalore, even the Congress party hands are not exactly clean.
BJP or JDS. As today, what BJP
Let's accept that. When we talk about the politician builder mafia, the Congress is as much responsible for the state of Bangalore's lakes as is the BJP.
I will not agree with this. I will not agree with this. Because today I'm telling you, without an order, a road has been built there and to facilitate a luxury apartment. Is it acceptable? Contempt of court, because the High Court has given many orders, Supreme Court has given orders, NGT orders are there, NGT guidelines are there. What is the buffer zone been very specifically said? 30 meters, they are not supposed to do any construction work there. Why are they doing it? Why the constitution doesn't exist in Bangalore of Karnataka, is it?
Okay. Lakshmi Gowda, I can give you 10 seconds. Please respond. I'll wrap up my chat after that. 10 seconds.
I need 5 seconds.
I'm not disturbed by the fact that what
No,
Congress...
I need 2 seconds to report
We are
back.
not caught out by the fact there are baseless allegations. We are only relying on our achievements.
It is not baseless allegations. It is BJP which is doing unlawful activities in Bangalore.
Ma'am, just saying baseless allegations will not do, na. We had all permissions. You didn't have permissions. The fact is what was happening was illegal, ma'am.
It is completely against the
Mr. Raju, wait. This is not fair. Mr. Raju, this is not fair. No, Mr. Raju, give me a minute. This is not fair. You can't hijack the show. Let Lakshmi ji speak. Let Lakshmi ji speak 10 seconds.
We are only relying on our achievements. We are only relying on our developments. We are only relying on how we have developed rational political optics for the electorate of Karnataka people to see and vote for us to again to power. We are very much confident of that. Congress people shouldn't lose their side just doing all
Lakshmi ji, this is not about winning an election.
Allegations.
I'm not, this is not about winning an election. This is not about winning an election. This is about what is right and what is wrong. And what was happening on the lake was simply wrong. You may now say, Kacha sadak tha, no, our intentions were very clean and honest. But you've been called out by citizens like Leo Saldanha.
BJP government.
Leo, I can give you 10 seconds. Please go ahead. I have to wrap this chat after that.
I just need a point. This is a problem of Congress versus BJP versus Janata Dal. And, we need to move beyond it. We need to be bipartisan about it. As I said, I know this lake and I've written about it and written about the neighborhood. In the 1980s, we had water levels at 25-30 feet. Now the water levels have reached almost 1,000 feet. And the reason for that is lakes like this. And this particular lake has been completely drained. It has not really had water. What you're seeing is sewage. And as I said, in 35 years, we have destroyed a lake which is hundreds of years old. So that's the contribution we are making into the future. In the future, they won't realize whether it is Congress or BJP or Janata Dal which did that. And shame on us that we actually talk like this. This is a criminal act. The horticulture minister, who is also the local MLA, is defending a criminal act. And that is the only way to see it. And if the rule of law and the court's order do not bind a minister, we have some 250, 300 MLAs. If each and every one of them behaves like this state is doomed. Water levels across the state, as the government has recently reported, have gone down drastically despite 6 months of continuous rainfall last year, which means we are drawing more water than we are actually putting back into the groundwater. And these lakes are the only feature which can put the water into the groundwater aquifers. So cities like Bangalore will have to be evacuated in 10, 20 years' time if parties do not listen to people like us, do not listen to court orders, and BBMP acts as if, it's trying to play side, whose side it's playing the game, The BBMP Commissioner, Mr. Tushar Girinath, should take it very seriously because he was prior to this, the BWSSB chairperson. So he knows the water situation in Bangalore. And he obviously cannot say, I didn't know. Obviously, everybody knew this was happening. It's being reported for a while now. And this is a crime which is taking place in broad daylight.
Okay. Okay. This was a crime in daylight, a crime in broad daylight. Thankfully, after much citizen pressure and some media pressure, the work there has stopped. There is an explanation by the BJP government, there's an explanation by the BBMP, but citizens who live in and around the lake are certainly not buying it. We'll leave it there for the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this very enlightening chat to tell us what exactly the problem is when it comes to Bangalore's lakes. And it seems the problem is the politicians. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. I'm slipping into a break. There's more on the other side. Do stay with us.